Just because you decided that Destiny is Pokemon doesn't mean that the one time you play that the time you played Destiny with someone from the Netherlands is Pokemon related.
You listen to the show. That's Pokemon related. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 161st episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is SBJ Uno 6 Uno. I don't know 6 in Spanish.
It's seis. So 161 would be 161, I believe.
There you go. Our Spanish translator this episode is brought to you by Travis.
I wonder who's on the show. Can't be Travis.
You don't have no.
Oh, that was your introduction of me.
Yeah.
That just casual saying of my name was your terrible, awful way of introducing me. Yeah, I did have a joke planned. But I don't know if it's worth it, because I already made fun of you.
I mean, I can reintroduce you.
Go for it.
Okay,
and pretend this never happened.
All right. And with us today on our episode of It's Super Effective that's starting off very poorly, we have Will.
Hey, I've been watching a lot of The Voice lately, so I'm gonna sing everything I say tonight.
What am I?
It's time to do the shuffle, Pokemon Shuffle, 161 centric.
Someone I went to high school with got third place on The Voice last year or 2 years ago or something.
Pokemon Shuffle, third place, not a winner.
And we also have Travis with us today, if you haven't figured that out by now.
Travis!
Before the show started, I went on Bulba News to see if there was anything I should be aware of that I wasn't already aware of before we started recording. And the top story on Bulba News currently is titled, "Gotta Meme 'Em All."
Boba News is news you can use.
Oh my god.
Gotta meme 'em all.
Yeah, I clicked on that because I was like, we need news to talk about, but I think it was about Twitch Plays Pokemon.
It's apparently an ongoing series about the origin and proliferation of Pokemon memes. But I think that we have reached the logical conclusion of the internet at the point where there's a recurring series of articles that someone has taken the time to write entitled "Gotta Meme 'Em All." I think we're done.
Recursive memes of Pokemon all time.
I hope you sing for the entirety of this.
Oh man,
Will's getting mixed messages right now. I'm encouraging him.
Wow, Travis gets to sing every crappy thing he ever comes up with. I try to do it one time. I'm gonna put you all mute. You can't quiet this.
There's a certain amount of gimmicks each of you can have. You can't cross those.
Don't cross the gimmicks. It's like Ghostbusters. That's what happens when you have women as all the main actors in the next Ghostbusters movie. It's don't cross the gimmicks.
Does anyone even care about that?
Me?
Ghostbusters wasn't even good originally.
Get off my podcast.
I officially resign from Pokemon. It's super effective right now, immediately.
Effective immediately.
Pokemon. Ghostbusters was my favorite movie.
I will even say that I like Ghostbusters 2. That's how much I like Ghostbusters.
Isn't there a third one?
No, it was the video game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we all know that wasn't good. Are you both done having?
Yeah,
heart attacks?
I'm not gonna
Down.
deny that one.
Okay, so let's talk about some Pokemon. Before we jump in, how was your guys' weekends?
I had a delightful weekend. Started off having dinner with a podcast listener, and had a really good conversation. So that got everything off to a good start. And I slept through the rest of the weekend.
I had a good time. Saw a comedy show yesterday.
A comedy show,
Mm-hmm.
like a comedian.
I saw You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes, which is a podcast, and they did a live taping in Grand Rapids around here.
Was it funny?
Yeah, that's sort of the point.
My brother and me is going to be in Milwaukee next month.
Oh, really?
I recommend it. My brother and me. Griffin.
Oh, that podcast.
Yeah,
It's pretty sweet. It's a good show.
it is a good show.
Very cool. I went to a WWE event over the weekend.
I would just like to note that Steve only asked about our weekends so that he could talk about his weekend.
I wasn't going to ask how his weekend is.
That's a lot of BS because I definitely asked how your guys' weekends are in the past episodes.
So how was
listeners?
WWE?
You're going to need to confirm that for me because I don't remember that at all.
Ever.
Because you both are too busy singing.
How was WWE, Steve?
It was good. It was good. And then this morning I played with a podcast listener. We played Destiny, and he was from Denmark, and he was pretty cool. We did some stuff in Destiny because that's a game I still play.
I thought you said he was from the Netherlands before the show started.
Oh yeah, dang! I already dropped the ball. He is from the Netherlands. What did I say? Denmark.
Denmark.
That's because he spoke Danish. That's a language, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but why would somebody from the Netherlands speak Danish?
I don't know. He said English wasn't his first language, but he spoke it very well. I mean, he definitely had an accent. But I suppose I have an accent to people who don't live in the north. Oh,
You might speak Dutch.
Well,
maybe he did say
Dutch.
Danish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if you were speaking in Dutch, you would... This is going to be so wrong if I'm totally blanking, and Dutch is not the name of the language, but I think in Dutch, to say the name of the language, it's like Nederlander or something like that. Like Dutch is just a thing we say in English, the same way that we say like German and Germany, even though it's Deutsch and Deutschland.
Deutsch.
Yes. But to make it really obvious, Steve, you don't speak any foreign languages.
No, absolutely
So
not.
there you go. You would speak any of them with an accent because you speak none of them.
I mean, I struggle with English as it is.
Yeah, thank the MPS for that.
Yeah, MPS school system. More importantly, we have some Pokemon news. Pretty slow Pokemon news week as the last couple weeks have been. That's why it's kind of hard to do like a full podcast without rambling or talking about what we did over our weekend. But I was able to scrape together parts of the internet to bring you today's show. So we will start off with Pokemon Bank offering free Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Evolve starters. We knew this was coming, but I believe now, as long as anytime between now and the end of the year, if you renew your Pokemon Bank or you have Pokemon Bank, you can receive all three Pokemon, Meganium, Typhlosion for Alligator, and their special abilities through Pokemon Bank.
I have done this.
Now, I was going to ask you, did you renew before your subscription expired? Or
I
after?
did. I just renewed about 10 minutes ago, so that would be after. But I got the free Pokemon before renewing, so you don't have to... well, I guess you have to get them before your subscription expires, but you don't have to renew in order to get them, if that makes sense. You just like logged in. I think I logged in 3 weeks ago. And then she's like, I got a present for you, and gave me 3 Pokemons. And I was like, thank you. I enjoy your present.
Wait, did she give them right to your bank, or did you have to go to a Pokemon Center?
Well, 50-50. They were like Pokemon Link. You know how you get your battle points from Pokemon Bank? You don't because you never do this.
Yeah.
But that way, so they actually just become part of your, go into your computer directly. You don't have to pick them up from the delivery person in the Pokemon Center.
And obviously, you didn't lose any Pokemon in your Pokemon Bank because you renewed after it expired.
Nope, I'm glad to report that even though I renewed about 2 weeks after it expired, they did not release all of my Pokemons into the wild. They are still safe and secure.
Solid.
No, you do not get to sing at all because number one, you don't ever watch The Voice.
Nope.
Number 2, you don't know anybody who ever came in 3rd place on The Voice. And 3,
Yeah, Travis Wheeler did.
You don't think Adam Levine is cute.
Didn't you listen to Travis like 9 minutes ago when he said he came in 3rd place in Flint, Michigan?
You think I'm from Flint? You started by thinking I was near Detroit when you know I took the ferry to visit you in Milwaukee, and now you think I live in Flint.
Well, I mean, I just assume everything major in Michigan happens in Flint, whether you live there or not.
Flint?
Why Flint?
Why not?
Is it because of that
such
movie?
a weird pull.
That documentary that was made like when I was a teenager?
Oh yeah, like what's the guy? He's the documentarian from Flint. What's his name?
Michael Myers.
No.
Moore?
Michael Moore. Yep.
Yeah.
He's a person.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of... Yeah, I can't even transition that good. 3 new Pokemon-themed Nintendo 3DS themes are, I believe, available as of now in America.
You are correct.
They were released in Japan like last week, but there is a Rayquaza theme, Pokemon Friends theme, and a Hanafuda theme.
Hanafuda.
What is Hanafuda?
It is the cards that the Nintendo company was originally founded to make.
Oh, okay.
So it's a particular art style.
That's cool.
And they have a little sleeping Pikachu card. But I would highly recommend that everybody get the Pokemon Friends theme because it is characters from Pokemon Black and White.
You've already unsold me on this.
You don't even know why I talk to you.
That Rayquaza theme, though.
Rayquaza one's pretty sweet. True.
I don't like. Okay, so I love and hate the Pokemon themes. First off, I like how you can have multiple themes rotate every time you like close the screen or launch a new game.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I do not like how the main part of the image is either so focused on the top or so focused on the bottom. And if it's like focused on the bottom, it only really fits if you're using like the single scroll. And I like to have the triple, like 3 rows. And it covers up most of the image. And then if it's focused on the top, most of the time that's covered because you have like a game icon spinning up there.
Well, some of them are designed so that the spinning game icon doesn't really obscure anything if they're designed well enough. The Rayquaza one is not designed well enough.
Yeah, neither is the ones I have are all Pokemon ones, so the Kyogre and the Groudon are not, well, that's one theme, but that's not designed very well, and neither is the Slowpoke. Because, like, yeah, whatever. What I ended up doing is I took the 3 rows and I just got rid of the top row, so it's still the 3-row thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just moved everything down.
Yeah. Down and out.
Just to satisfy my themes.
Kind of like an iPhone screen.
Yeah. Except it's not.
Those are like
screen.
$5, aren't they?
They're like, what? iPhone screens or 3DS?
No, the themes, the Pokemon or the 3DS themes.
$1.99. $1.99.
Oh, really?
That's highway robbery.
It is, yeah.
Well, seeing as I have purchased 0 themes for my 3DS, I would agree.
Really? You didn't buy Pokemon
Yeah,
Friends? You just told everyone to buy Pokemon Friends.
everyone else. Everyone else who buys themes, that's the one I would recommend. Of all the Pokemon themes, I think that is the best one. It looks like Miiverse. That's it. It looks like, some of the gym leaders from Gen 5 and the 2 trainer types from Gen 5 are Miiverse, that with a little world. You know how they have the people around the world? And they're like,
yep,
hello.
yep. I see what you're saying. I'll probably get
I
that
like.
one.
I think listeners should just listen to that portion of Will trying to describe what that looks like, because it sounds like Will is trying to describe that picture that they showed you in elementary school of
World
that's
peace.
like shows all the little stick figures standing around the world holding hands, and they're all like different colors, and it's about diversity or whatever.
That's pretty much the Miiverse loading screen. If you've never seen it.
Here we go. Bulbapedia has an explanation of what it is. It features chibi versions of Hilbert, Charon, Elsa, Skyla, Ingo, Emmett, N, and Hilda, all based on Pokemon Black and White. The background music is Let's Go Together from Black and White. A theme is played at the start of the game. Oh, the starting theme.
Why does Hilda why does Hilda get bottom billing?
Oh, they started from the very top, and she is northwest.
Got it.
Because it's full circle.
Yeah.
It looks like Ingo got the bottom.
I have no idea why they put Ingo and Emmett. It's just of 2 characters that I cared about in Gen 5, Ingo and Emmett were not anywhere on any list.
Sorry, Ingo and Emmett fans in the audience.
I mean, Iris should be on there. Drayden.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like Iris is pretty much well liked.
Yeah.
Well, carrying on with the news, 2 new special stages are now available in Pokemon Shuffle.
Pokemon Shuffle.
Let's see. Both stages are available until March 23rd. And you have to have version 1.1.2. And it looks like the one stage is featuring Mew and one stage is featuring Kyogre.
So the Kyogre one is the new one. But if people have not been doing a daily check-in on Pokemon Shuffle, you have to do the daily check-in because you get rewards for that. It's no cost. You just click the check-in button, let it connect to the internet, and you get whatever the latest check-in update is, which is sometimes a Meowth level. And when you play the Meowth level, you get free coins, and then you can use those free coins to buy a Great Ball so that you can catch Pokemon.
Wait, there's coins, gems, and hearts in this video game?
There are hearts, coins, and jewels, not gems. Jewels. You use the jewels to buy either hearts or coins. You use the coins to buy power-ups. You use the hearts to play the game. I will not accept your tone of derision for the wonderful world that is Pokemon Shuffle.
Okay,
I draw the line at 2 fake currencies.
So what does this mean?
You got Bitcoin, you got Litecoin. Once you get Dogecoin and Kanye coin or whatever the other one was.
It's Meowth coin.
Okay, serious question. When it says there's a new stage featuring Kyogre, what does that actually mean?
So there's 3 play areas in Pokemon Shuffle. There's the main area, which is the path that I talked about, where you go to like Bon Bon Alley or Gallery Rouge or whatever, and that's like the main path for collecting Pokemon. Then there are the expert levels, which I have not touched the expert levels because I haven't completed the main area yet. And then there's the special area. And the special area updates every day when you click on the little check-in button. And then that's where like Mew shows up. That's where Kyogre shows up. So they just like, you can download, they're boards that are specific, but they're time limited. So like if you don't play and catch Kyogre in the amount of time that it's available, it will no longer be a board, versus the main area, those Pokemon are always available. So they had like a series where they did daily Pokemon, and it was the Rotoms, and just every day it would be a different Rotom. But if you didn't catch it on that day, then that board would expire, and you couldn't catch that Rotom anymore.
Ever again?
Well, no, they've done it twice now, so
Oh, okay.
they're just cycling through them. But I did catch Kyogre very quickly, and that's a great one to have on your team if anybody hasn't done it yet, because he's automatically very powerful.
I was going to download this game over the weekend, but I haven't yet.
You lied. The last time you said I had convinced you to download it.
Yeah, but I didn't say I actually did download it.
Well, it's time to put words to action.
Travis, have you dabbled in the shuffle?
Oh heavens, no! I'm terrible at those types of puzzle games.
It's not hard, and also what I noticed, it does not ever get into the situation where you cannot make a match. So, like with some of these games, you'll get the board to a point where you can't make a match and it reshuffles everything. This will never allow that to happen.
Interesting.
I feel like that makes it too easy.
It's a children's game. Rated E for everyone.
I wouldn't say that means children. It just means everyone.
Katamari Damacy is rated E for everyone, and that game gets pretty tough in the later stages.
That's true. It's a great game. Possibly the greatest game of all time.
I'm not going to argue with you. Because that game's pretty sweet. That's a bad example, too, because I don't feel like that game's that hard, but I couldn't think of another...
Katamari Damacy?
Yeah.
Oh, seriously, it is, because there are end game scenarios which you can finish the game completely and even get congratulated on successfully completing it, and you didn't get those scenarios.
Yeah, like 100%ing that game is quite difficult.
But worth the effort.
I like We Love Katamari too, the sequel.
There's been 4 or 5 sequels?
Yeah,
6?
but the one immediately after is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. I played the one on Xbox and was not happy, just because the Xbox controller is inappropriate for Katamari Damacy. And I played the one on Vita, and
I don't know what that means.
What?
Inappropriate?
Okay, so the whole gameplay point of Katamari Damacy is that you only ever push on the left and right joystick, right? And the way that you orient them in relation to each other determines how the Katamari rolls.
Right.
So you want them to be parallel or lined up with each other.
As they would be on a PlayStation DualShock controller.
Exactly. But the Xbox controller has the 2 joystick kind of things at a diagonal. So it's just, you can't do it. You can't. It doesn't feel right. It's not a real Katamari, and Katamari belongs on Sony. Period.
I'm not going to argue
because you've never played it.
I mean, I played the demo at like a GameStop like a decade ago.
I mean, Katamari Damacy created my definition for the perfect game: collecting things, rolling, and cute. It is the pinnacle of all those 3 things.
I mean, I played
rolling is my favorite genre of video game.
Yes. What more do you need from a game except to roll?
What other rolling games are there? Are there any Pokemon rollers?
Pokemon Dash?
Is Pokemon Dash a roller?
Nah,
Pokemon Pinball. Pokemon Pinball is arguably a roller.
That has rolling in it?
I would argue that it's a pinball game.
Steve, what would you say that pinball does as it moves across the board?
I would say that it rolls.
Must be a rolling game then.
Mm-hmm.
You got a burn heal there, Steve?
There are Pokemon that roll, like Miltank.
You're going to need one.
Right? Miltank rolls.
Pokemon is a rolling game.
There is rolling in Pokemon. There is rolling in Destiny, even.
We don't need to get into that nonsense.
Oh.
Is there rolling in Hearthstone? I feel like that's the only game we haven't brought up that is continually brought up.
There's a whirling Zap-O-Matic. I don't think there's a rolling. No, I don't think there's any rolling. It's an imperfect game.
There's rolling in Pokemon TCG, rolling of the dice.
Oh well, no. Katamari Damacy is like the paragon. It is the top. And anything else is a shadow of what it achieved. Right? Even though it may partake of the essence of those three things, nothing will ever come to be the same greatness.
I like the level in We Love Katamari where the girl is like, Katamari is just a ripoff of making snowmen. And then the whole level is her whining about how Katamari stole the idea from making snowmen.
You might enjoy playing the PS Vita version of Katamari.
Why would I buy a PS Vita?
Yeah, it's a bad investment. System's terrible. I hate playing on the Vita.
There are times when I enjoy playing on the Vita.
I don't.
It's a Pokemon of the Week, Steve.
Wait, I still have news items to cover.
The next news item, Will.
Yeah, what's the next news item?
Netflix has released the third season of Black and White and the Indigo League episodes of the Pokemon cartoon, which it has taken them one heck of a long time to get this far. But if you can finally... I think the third season of the Black and White series is when N appears, if I'm not...
Is that good or bad?
It was kind of like... The whole thing about the Black and White series was it started out strong, it became really poor, and then it started to come back, like claw its way back up. So this is part of the time when it starts to claw its way back up and become better. Worth watching, because Unova was the best any Pokemon ever of all Pokemons.
Are you in comparing that to like everything or just in TV shows?
Everything.
All right, I'm disregarding that opinion.
There is literally nothing that you and I agree on, Steve.
I mean, we both like Destiny.
I like the Warlock, and you do not.
Yeah, that's a trash class.
My favorite wrestler is Bad News Barrett. Your favorite wrestler is some chunky backcountry dude who can only say 3 words. I'm sorry, he can only say 1 word, yes, 3 times. Bad News Barrett speaks with a British accent and has a beautiful vocabulary.
New Pokemon Symphonic Evolution tour dates have been announced for California. 2 more tour dates for Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions have been announced for July later this year. First concert will be in the San Diego Symphony Hall in, obviously, San Diego, California on July 9th. And the second concert will be held at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, California on July 11th. Tickets are available to order, but the ordering period is going to end on March 21st. That doesn't make any sense, but that's what Bulbapedia says.
Well, I recommend people go. I've been.
You've been?
Really? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I went during the Pokemon World Championships.
Give our listeners a recap of what they can expect.
You go and they have these videos from the video games.
You're really selling it right now.
I mean,
you get a hotel. I don't know, man.
No, you don't need to get a hotel, but you go to the show, right? And it's like a real orchestra type thing, and they have like the instruments,
a symphony maybe,
in the front of you, and you sit down. Here's okay. Let's take a step back. You go to the Symphony Hall where the show will be held. You walk past the alcoholic beverages because there is absolutely no reason why anyone needs to drink alcohol to watch Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions. You go to your seat. You enjoy being there with other Pokemon fans who are sober. And they play music from the games, and they show videos from the corresponding games from which they are playing music. They did not play enough music from Unova, but whatever. That's not, I was not the artistic director for this particular endeavor. But they do play lots of different themes and everything that you will recognize and enjoy. And it's a great communal experience for people who love and enjoy Pokemon. And you can bring your 3DS or new 3DS and get tons and tons of street passes. And it's a kind of event where no one will complain if you clear out your street passes while you're enjoying the performance, so you can get all those puzzle pieces that you need. How's that?
That sounded good.
Grade A.
Yes.
Will Anderson recommends. Worth the ticket price, once in a lifetime opportunity.
There you go.
How would you rate the hall that you were in when you saw it originally? How were the acoustics?
Well, I saw it in Warner Theater, which I'm well familiar with, and it has wonderful acoustics.
Did you know that there's this period where all of the theaters that were supposed to be perfectly acoustically designed, all of a sudden they stopped. People said that they weren't as good anymore, and people were like racking their brains to figure out what it was. And it turned out that because giant, like floofy dresses went out of style, that they didn't soak up as much sound anymore.
Interesting.
So concert halls had to be redesigned because people didn't wear those anymore, and they're too boomy.
Well,
true story.
A little.
I heard that it was true. I didn't research it myself.
A little known fact is that giant floofy dresses are still quite popular here in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
Yeah, what about
cool.
horse and buggies?
And just to excite everyone even more, on March 25th of this month, Bob's Burgers Live will be performing at the Warner Theater.
Is Pokemon Podcast just going to turn into where we read certain events are happening in certain areas?
The Warner Theater show.
Okay.
All right, I think that's all the news we have for right now. Like I said, another slow news week. I would only imagine that next week is going to be just as slow because we haven't gotten a Nintendo Direct lately or any Pokemon-related news. Oh, but I do have Gamefreak news to talk about, and we can talk about that when we get back after our break. And we are back from our break to talk to you about a game that is not Pokemon, but a game made by the people who make the Pokemon games. Gamefreak. Dun dun dun, spoiler.
For what is that a spoiler?
I don't know. I feel like
Game Freak the movie? Game Freak the motion picture? It's not just a game anymore?
yeah, maybe. So
that's the tagline for the Super Mario Brothers motion picture.
We normally Bulbasaur any swear words that happen. I think we're all pretty good at, keeping the podcast PG-13. Ironically, the new game by Game Freak has quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see because this is an audio podcast, has a bad word.
It's a naughty.
It could be considered devious, naughty, scandalous,
sinful, degenerate.
Any of those words. So we're going to bleep the word for the remainder of this segment. It'll either be annoying or really funny. So we'll go with that. So the new game...
I'm going to say the title, emphasize that word and make it very long so that editing it out is much, much more difficult for you.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I won't.
Okay, so the new game announced by Game Freak is called Tembo the Badass Elephant.
Correct.
It is coming this summer for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
I'm surprised it's not coming out for PS3. It doesn't look like it really needs that much.
PS3 and PS4 have different architecture.
Nerd!
It does. That's why a lot of your digital PS3 games don't work on PS4. Where was I going with this? Not a Pokemon game. So before we talk about the game itself, let's talk about if you guys think this is going to interrupt a possible Pokemon game for this fall.
100% there will be no Pokemon game this fall. There is no Pokemon Ranger coming this fall.
All right. I mean, what? I don't feel like I even need to weigh in. Will is so decisive here. I mean, I'd be surprised if there were a Pokemon game. Is there usually one right out like this close after a main series one?
We've had a Pokemon game every year since Black and White.
Oh well.
If I'm not mistaken, right, Will?
Correct.
Yeah, so for the last 4 years. Was there a gap between Heart Gold, Soul Silver? Or was that also
I don't know. What year did that come out?
2010?
No, that's when Black and White came out.
2009 then.
Unless I'm wrong.
If there was only a website.
If there was only some tool of interconnected computers throughout the world where people could store information about events that had happened in time. If only we had access to such an incredible concept.
Pokemon Heart Gold version and Pokemon Soul Silver version were released in Japan on September 12th, 2009, in North America on March 14th, 2010.
There we go.
Wow.
Black and White was March 6th, 2011. Pokemon Black and White 2 was October 7th, 2012. Pokemon X and Y was worldwide October 12th, 2013. And Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was November 21st, 2014. So the last 5 years, we've had a Pokemon game every year.
Speaking of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, can we have a moment of silence for the Pokewalker, the greatest video game peripheral of all time?
Why do we need a moment of silence for it? I have it sitting right on my stand right there by my bathroom.
Because my batteries died, Will.
You
You
can
put
change
a
the
new one
battery.
in. You just unscrew the back.
It won't be the same. You can't just... I can't just, clone the fun I had with my original Pokewalker. The spirit won't be there. The soul isn't the same. The soul lies in the battery. Everyone knows this.
Which Pokemon did you have stored on your Pokewalker?
Snorlax.
That Pokemon is now dead.
Yep. Rest in peace.
That Snorlax
Can we please have
is
a moment of silence for my Snorlax from Soul Silver version?
Yes.
Clearly the Pokemon you want to take
Thanks
for
for
a
the-
walk.
Thanks for the moment of silence, Steve. You're really good at this.
All right, moment of silence. All right. I would not be surprised if we still get a Pokemon game this year, because I believe it was last year Gamefreak released Harmonite, which was the rhythm-based game. And they also released, I'm going to get this pronunciation wrong, Solitabia, the horse racing solitaire game.
What? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, of course.
It only came out in Japan,
Oh.
but it was a horse racing game.
Greatest horse racing video game of all time. The beloved genre horse racing.
I believe also in, I can't remember what it was, but they released Drill Dozer for the Game Boy Advance. Between Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which I heard was very good.
Yeah, people liked it.
Well, never got a remake.
The big kind of twist to Tembo the Badass Elephant is that it is being published by Sega and not Nintendo, and it is the first game that has been not published by Nintendo since Click Medic, which was a Japanese-only medical simulation game that appeared on PlayStation.
It's really bizarre because Game Freak itself is owned by Nintendo.
So that kind of stuff can happen.
But
I
it's
mean,
my
Microsoft
God.
makes software
I didn't think
for
they
Apple
were
computers.
owned by Nintendo. I thought Nintendo just owned the majority of their shares.
That could be the case. I don't know.
I don't know how that works either, though.
Well, I mean, owning shares and ownership. Well, yeah, publicly traded company.
They are a second-party developer, whatever that means.
This is all very business oriented.
The business podcast.
For your money-ness.
Yeah,
Is
so
Game Freak listed on the NASDAQ?
I don't think so.
Are they listed on the... What's the other one?
Is it
Dow?
a bull market
The
or
Dow.
a bear market?
Is it on the Dow? Wow, Steve, congrats to you.
Thanks.
But I don't think they're listed there either. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Anyways,
You just gave Steve... Did you give Steve credit for what I said?
no, because he said the Dow. The Dow is a listing agency for stocks.
The Dow Jones, specifically.
Yes. So this is an elephant that runs around without underwear and battles.
Well, because he has a bad ass.
No, because he's part commando, all elephant.
Part commando.
And we know what part is commando.
so the synopsis I have is Tembo puts you in the shoes of an elephant that jumps and butt stomps his way through 17 stages to fight the forces of Phantom, which are led by a Trinical commander?
Where are you reading this from?
Silicon Era. And then we have a quote here. We are delighted to be working with Game Freak to bring this heavyweight adventure to an audience that we feel it will have relevance to.
Relevance to. Tyrannical was the word you were looking at before.
Ah, I see. Said John Clark, the senior vice president of the commercial publishing for Sega Europe. It's a trunk full of fun, and we think gamers are going to love it. Hopefully more than my rubbish elephant puns.
I liked relevance. I think that was solid.
And the word is tyrannical.
Travis just said this.
I didn't listen to Travis. I've got him on mute.
I read another article that the reason why I think we're still getting a Pokemon game is because it seems like this is a very small team making it. It's a 17 stage 2D side scroller, but I believe it was on IGN. One of the people making the game said they wanted it to feel like Donkey Kong Country. More specifically, when you're riding the Rhino in Donkey Kong Country, because the Rhino has a lot of weight, moves very fast, plows through things, and that's what they wanted the feel for Tembo himself.
The titular Tembo. The eponymous Tembo.
There was also a conversation where they said originally Tembo would use his trunk to quote-unquote punch people or swing it to hit people, but they thought that was kind of boring and took away from him being an elephant. So they removed that feature, and instead now his trunk can like suck up people and spit them out.
A la Kirby?
Yeah, I guess.
A la Tembo, please.
He is a badass elephant, Will.
He's part commando, all elephant.
Is he Tembo the badass envelope?
He's a badass. that Tembo is one badass envelope.
Takes a licking and keeps on sticking.
But
That'd be a better
U.S.
game.
Postal Servicing up. No, that one didn't work. You can edit that one out.
Game Freak was going to use the envelope flap to flip over enemies and attack them, but they decided it was better to have the envelope suck them in and spit them back out. A la Tembo.
there you go. The other reason I think this isn't going to interrupt a Pokemon game cycle is because it is coming out for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. And apparently when you're developing only for those like 3 SKUs, it's a lot easier to make a game opposed to doing like Wii U and PS4 because those architectures are completely different. whereas the Xbox One and the PS4 have very similar architectures.
Do you know what chip are they use in the Xbox One and the PS4? Is it the same chip manufacturer?
No, I don't think so. But I don't know what they are. I know last gen, the Xbox 360 was running a PowerPC, and the PlayStation 3 was running the 7-core whatever processor.
Intel?
No, I don't think it was Intel, but I could be wrong.
How many times do I need to yell nerd on this show?
It is important to know who your chip
Tembo.
manufacturer is.
Doesn't Nintendo run AMD or ATI?
This week's
No, they run
Pokemon of the week.
ATI. All right, let's finish up our Tembo talk. You guys excited?
I would play.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
I hope it has a some sort of multiplayer component, because that is what I most enjoy about gaming.
The old multiplayer.
Besides rolling cuteness and collecting things.
I mean, I played Harmonite and I didn't really like it. That was Game Freak's last non-Pokemon game. But then again, I'm not really good at rhythm games.
You got no rhythm.
You are correct in that statement. I think we'll take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we will talk about our item of the week and our Pokemon of the week. And we are back to bring you our final segment of the show. I'll just cut and edit that, don't worry. Final segment of our show. Let's start off with our item of the week. This week's item of the week is brought to you by PokemonCenter.com, our non-sponsor Pokemon Center website that we seem to talk about every week.
It's almost as if we made a whole segment out of it.
If you're listening, Pokemon Company International, we'd love a sponsorship.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Get these royalties on these items we sell. They probably see an increase of said items we talk about every week. They're going to trace it back to our show. They probably sold out of Rayquazos from last week.
You get that it's super effective bump.
Mm-hmm.
This week is the Kyogre Pokeplush, large size, 9 inches, $24.99. Usually ships in 24 hours. Product details. Get in touch with your power Pokemon. Kyogre brings all the endless power of the ocean to this large, fuzzy Pokeplush, complete with a soft flipper claws, a dorsal fin, and a super soft underbelly. In ancient times, Kyogre is said to have been able to expand the oceans and raise the sea level. Catch that wave with Kyogre.
I want t-shirt. That is the sentence, catch that wave. Well, first of all, the sentence is not grammatically correct. I don't like there's no comma there. So I don't really care that much about grammatical correctness unless it makes what they're trying to say indecipherable, which it does in this case. Are they addressing Kyogre and asking Kyogre to catch that wave, or are they, as written, asking us, the reader, to catch that wave Kyogre, the wave Kyogre, which we are supposed to catch?
What may inform your judgment upon the proper indications of that sentence, if you look at the features, the number one feature is it looks like it's fresh from the surf. which is which possibly could be served up in a restaurant, or just came from the ocean. But also, if you look at number 4, the Pokemon that rules the waves. Right? So it's like he's the king of the waves, and that wave is trying to get away. Like, catch it, cowpoke.
So they are addressing Kyogres.
That little doggy is getting out there, so twirl your lasso and catch that wave, Kyogre.
I like number 3 under the features. It's a large size plush for large size fun.
That's my slogan.
Recommended age 4 years and up.
Looks like it's fresh from the surf.
Made in China.
Do stop.
100% polyester fiber. 0.32 America pounds.
Wait a minute. Kyogre is supposed to be like 50 tons.
This is inaccurate.
I mean, large size plush for large size fun.
This is not to scale. I want my $24.99 back.
If you want to be more specific with dimensions here, 15.5 inches wide, 3.5 inches tall, 12 inches long. Don't know where the 9 inches and the original name came from, but let's move on to reviews.
Can I read the reviews this time?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, there's 3 reviews, so we can each read one.
Well, I get the long one.
All right, you can start off with who is it?
The reviewer is Coco Kanade, and then in quotation marks, the procrastinating multitasker who resides in somewhere from a state. Real jokester, that Coco Kanade.
A state.
The title of this review is The Mighty Cough Cough Adorable Cough Cough Kyogre! Exclamation point. Oh, this is so good. Coco Kanade writes, Pokemon Sapphire was my first Pokemon game, so when Alpha Sapphire came out, I knew I had to get it. Through the Pokémon Me section, I rediscovered my love for this legendary that I caught all those years ago. And then I wanted to get a Kyogre of my own. 3, Catface. I've purchased Pokemon Center projects before, and this one is by far the most detailed and beautiful plushies I've bought. It's very soft, very cute, and the amount of embroidery astounds and impresses me. Kyogre is beautiful, and since it's from the generation I started playing the game in, it is one of my most favorite legendaries. I highly recommend this to other potential buyers. 3, Catface. I wish I could buy one big enough to use as a pillow. This will forever be a cherished part of my Pokemon and plushie collection. Was this review helpful to you?
I click no.
Oh, I clicked yes. Wait, I have to log in to say that review was helpful.
3 out of 3 people found that review helpful.
Oh, dang. I should have...
Oh my god, the next review.
I'm really sad I didn't get the next one.
Do I get to read it?
It's really short, but you can read it.
Well, 0 out of 26 people found it helpful.
This is the same as the... Okay, I won't spoil it.
The title of the review is I Love Poke Apostrophe Mon. February 9th, 2015. The reviewer is Togepi Lover. I think we've actually featured Togepi Lover on the podcast before.
We have.
Togepi Lover, in quotes, Togepi Lover, end quotes, Kansas City, Missouri. Yes, so another Kansas City dude. I think Kyogre is cool. I also like how it turns into Primal Reversion. I also like how it can use the move called Origin Pulse. Kyogre is really cool.
Was this review helpful to you, Will?
Yes! I didn't know that Kyogre could use Origin Pulse.
The move called Origin Pulse.
I don't understand how this has 0 of 26 people found this review helpful.
Well, the fact that this review almost word for word was on the
Rayquaza one.
The Rayquaza one must mean that Togepi Lover reviews every single Pokemon product. and writes this. I'm gonna Steve,
just
while
for
you read the
reference.
next one,
No,
I'm gonna
hold
look
on.
for another one.
Let me read the Togepi Lovers Rayquaza review. It was, I think this Rayquaza is really cool. I also like how it mega evolves in the game. I play Rayquaza's body looks really cool. How it's long. I like Rayquaza. So
Yes.
Are you
There
ready
is
for
called this one,
Togepi
though.
Lover's review of the Skitty plush?
go ahead.
0 of 14 people found this review helpful. I think this Skitty is so cute and playful. Skitty are just so funny to watch them play with their tail. Skitty is known as the kitten Pokemon. I like Skitty.
Wow, Togepi Lover has literally reviewed every plush. And the Lugia Team Plasma Tin. I think Lugia is cool. I love to collect Pokemon cards. Lugia is the king of the sea. Lugia is my favorite in Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I just love Pokemon. Wow.
I love you, Togepi Lover.
I think
Togepi Lover
Carbink
is
is
amazing.
cute. Carbink is known as the jewel Pokemon. Carbink are also cute when they hop around to move. Carbink have cute ears. I just love Carbink.
I found
Wow.
a Togepi Lover review that 2 of 19 people found helpful. I think this Latios is so cute and playful. Latios can see through the eyes of Latios. Latios is known as the Eon Pokemon. It's cool how they can Mega Evolve. I love Latios. I feel bad now. I'm probably making fun of a child, but I don't know. I just find Togepi Lover's enthusiasm so refreshing.
No child has the time to write 35 reviews of Pokemon plushes.
Togepi Lover does.
Togepi Lover also has a following of people who care enough about their reviews, but do not find them helpful.
Yeah.
I think Umbreon is cute. Umbreon can only evolve at night with 5 affection hearts when it's an EV. Umbreon is the moonlight Pokemon. I think Togepi is a cute and silly Pokemon. I love Togepi. Poor Umbreon. He couldn't even cut and paste and change Togepi to Umbreon. Togepi Lover, you've killed me. Oh no!
Poor child. I feel so bad. I don't mean to make fun of Togepi Lover. I find Togepi Lover's outlook on life to be unique.
Last review for Kyogre, the product we are reviewing here. Best Legendary Plush by America G, the Mawile Enthusiast, Irving, California. 5 stars.
That'd be Irvine.
Irvine, sorry. 13 of 14 people found this review helpful. This guy is impressive. There is no way this plush could be more accurate. All the little details are there, and they keep their shape even after being tightly packed into a shipping box. He is totally soft all over, perfect for displaying or for hugging.
Steve, was this review helpful to you?
Yeah, I think so, because
I think that was the most helpful of the reviews we read.
they touched on
Yes.
they touched on perfect for display or hugging, which is both very important. They
Yes,
also
I don't get to hug enough in my life.
That's right. They also touched on how, even when squished, being poorly packed, as stated, being tightly packed into a shipping box, it still keeps its shape.
Watch that wave, Kyogre.
So you, listener, if you want your own Kyogre Poképlush large size, 9 inches, American inches, go ahead and head over to the PokemonCenter.com to pick yours up today. Moving on to our Pokemon of the week. It brings me great sadness to report that the Leech King in Twitch Plays Pokemon anniversary run. The Leech King was Twitch Plays Pokemon first level 100 Pokemon. I'm sad to announce that it has been released as of today into the wild. So
I think you're the only human being that still watches that.
you know, it's pretty entertaining still. So to celebrate the Leech King's honorable Twitch Plays Pokemon run,
That's why you're doing this?
Parasect is our Pokemon of the
I
week.
feel much worse for putting this moveset together now.
Nah, Parasect's a sweet Pokemon.
I love Parasect.
Let me read a little bit about it before we have Travis divulge the great moveset of the Leech King.
Arguably.
Let's see here. We'll read the biology. Parasect is an orange insectoid Pokemon that has been completely overtaken by the Parasect mushroom on its back. It has a small head with pure white eyes and a segmented body that is mostly hidden by the mushroom. It has 3 pairs of legs, with the foremost pair forming large pincers. With fungus growing on its back, it has a large red cap with yellow spots throughout. The insect has been drained of nutrients and is now under control of a fully grown Tochukasu. Perfect. Parasect can be found in caves and can also thrive in dank forest with suitable amount of humidity for growing fungi.
That's dank.
Very dank. Swarms of this Pokemon have been known to infest trees. The swarm will drain the trees of nutrients until it dies, and then move on to a new tree. Dank City.
Dank.
Parasect is bug and grass. It has 3 abilities: Affect Spore, Dry Skin, and Dank. Nope, sorry, Damp.
That's why I named my Parasect Prince YOLO Dank Swag.
Travis, do you want to touch on these abilities first? And which is the superior ability for your Parasect?
It's going to be... Well, it depends. Dry Skin can be useful if you have a rain team. Dry Skin can be very useful. It's also nice. I think Dry Skin is probably generally going to be your more useful ability. The downside of Dry Skin, of course, is you have a slight weakness to fire. Parasect is already going to die from any fire move you throw at it because it has 4 times, so the detriment there doesn't become relevant. So the benefit of gaining HP either from the rain effect or from water attacks hitting it, that can be useful. It can give it a free switch in if you're expecting a water attack. Although Effect Spore might also be nice given the moveset I'm going to recommend. Because, having random effects on the... or specifically paralysis, I believe, right? That's what Effect Spore does. Or no, paralyzed, asleep, or poisoned. That can be helpful. But
Damp
probably drives...
Damp doesn't seem that great. Prevents self-destruction and explosion.
Does it prevent other people from self-destructing and exploding? Right. So it's not you yourself, but like when you're in a double battle and that dude's got like a Voltorb or whatever, and he's like, I'm going to self-destruct and hit those other 2 guys, and then you're like, you ain't going to self-destruct on my watch, buddy.
Right.
So it's like that.
Exactly.
Just like that.
Interestingly, Parasect has 2 times 4 weaknesses, which is not a very great place to be in. But in terms of those 2 being fire and flying, in terms of a moveset, Parasect is another one like last time's Love Disc, where it's a little difficult to suss out what a good moveset would be. Given that its highest stats are its defenses and its attack, I settled on sort of a tanky archetype as opposed to trying to do a purely defensive Pokemon when its attack is its highest stat, and it seemed to be missing the boat a little bit, and I also didn't want to go purely offensive since its speed is its lowest stat at 30. So instead, I would recommend the EV spread focus on HP and attack, the moveset being, and then have a nature adamant nature. Yeah, sorry. The moveset I was thinking of utilizes Parasect's best quality, which is its access to Spore, which is a 100% chance to put an opponent to sleep. It's a grass-type move. Spore, Synthesis, X-Scissor, and Seed Bomb would be my recommended moveset. The idea is that you put it to sleep, and then you use your offensive moves to hit the Pokemon that comes in when they switch out their sleeping Pokemon, or to kill the Pokemon that they kept in there asleep. And then, what was the other one? Synthesis, because if you're focusing on HP, then you should be able to live some hits if they're not super effective, and when your opponent switches out after you put their Pokemon to sleep, you can often get a free synthesis in that way. And that's my recommendation. It's not very good because I don't think it would be that viable, but if you're dying to use a Parasect, it might be fun.
You can get an X-Scissor on there. That's nice.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't listen to you. I have you on mute.
Thanks, Will.
Solar Beam. I don't know.
Special attack isn't really high enough to warrant solar.
That's true. I mean, there's all kinds of physical things this guy can do. Thief is fun.
Another move to consider would be Leech Seed as
Dig.
Yeah. Wow, I do not remember the move Rototiller. Let's figure out what that does. Can learn that.
Is there seriously a move called Rototiller?
Introduced in Gen 6, Rototiller raises the attack and special attack stats of all grass-type Pokemon in the battle by 1 stage. Does not affect flying-type Pokemon, Pokemon with Levitate, Pokemon holding an air balloon, or Pokemon under the effects of Magnetize or Telekinesis, unless the Pokemon is under the effects of Gravity Smackdown, Ingrain, or 1,000 arrows, or if the Pokemon is holding an Iron Ball, the move will fail if there are no grass-type Pokemon present on the battlefield. That is... I don't understand what the use of that would be. I realize if you're in if you're in a triple battle and the 2 other Pokemon you're paired with are
Grass
type.
Well, not like if your team is a Gourgeist and a Parasect, and then you run that, and then you get all the bonuses, right? Because you'll have special attack on your Gourgeist, and you'll have attack on your Parasect, and then it's like everybody's having a good time party.
Yeah. It's a good point.
What is Fell Stinger? Wait a minute.
Is that the one where if you it's like if you kill the Pokemon with that move, it has some additional effect.
Yeah,
it raises your attack if you kill. It raises the attack if you kill a Pokemon
by 2
with Fell Stinger.
stages.
Yeah.
Who came up with all these new moves I've never even heard of? Wow,
a lot of
it's
them
like
are sort
I've
of
never
niche
played
like that
Pokemon
one.
before.
I also, in reading the effect for Rototiller, I was really confused because it said unless the Pokemon is under the effects of blah 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 or 1,000 arrows, which is not a thing I'd ever heard of, because no Pokemon can learn 1,000 arrows.
What is 1,000 arrows?
1,000 arrows inflicts damage. It's a 100% accuracy, 90 power. Despite it being a ground type move, it can damage flying Pokemon, Pokemon with Levitate, Air Balloon, Magnetize, or Telekinesis. 1,000 arrows removes the effect of Magnetize and Telekinesis, makes the target vulnerable to ground types. And Arena Trap, even if it's flying or has Levitate, the effect lasts until affected Pokemon switches out. But no Pokemon can learn it, so...
It's not a TM, HM, or Move Tutor move. What is the point of...
They probably just found it in the code.
Yeah, it's probably either going to be exclusive to some event Pokemon. It's probably going to be like an event move type of thing where they'll release a Camerupt with 1,000 arrows or something like that.
Hoopa.
Yeah.
Hoopa.
When is Hoopa coming out?
Probably this fall, if I was to take an educated guess.
Yeah, probably Halloween again or something.
Paras and Parasect are the only Pokemon in the game to take more than 4 times as such damage from any one type of attack under normal battle conditions. A Paras or Parasect with the ability Dry Skin will take 5 times damage from fire attacks. And Gen 1 Poison type attacks are super effective against Bug type Pokemon, making Parasect and Paras the only Pokemon to ever have 3 4 times weaknesses. No other Pokemon has the same egg group combination as Paras and its pre-evolution. Paras and Parasect share their species names with Shroomish, Breloom, Fungus, and Amogus. They are all known as the Mushroom Pokemon. There you go. And a shiny Parasect is goldish, gold and yellow kind of. Doesn't look that cool. It looks okay. Parasect's kind of cool.
I like Parasect. I think the shiny's kind of nice. I honestly, if you showed me the shiny without showing me the original, I probably wouldn't be able to notice that it's especially in the black and white. In X and Y, I can tell, but in black and white, I might just be like, oh, I guess it's a little oranger than I remember. But the X and Y shiny is kind of neat.
Yeah. I am tired. I think that's our show.
Parasects use Spore on you.
Unless you guys have anything else, I think that kind of wraps up everything.
I got nothing else to say about Parasect.
The mushroom Pokemon. Number 47 in the Pokédex. All right. Travis, where can they find you?
Twitter.com/TheTravisW for tweets. And then for my photography, you can either do Flickr, Tumblr, or 500 pixels under the handle TheTravisW.
Awesome. Will, where can they find you?
On Twitter.com/WashInTheSink. And for my photography, you can find that on Instagram, where I take like 6 selfies every day and put them on up there. So you can just look at me through your whole Instagram feed all day long.
I don't think I've ever actually told you this, but I adore your in-car selfie series.
There you go.
Morning.
It's revolutionary, amazing, beautiful.
As
more
am I.
adjectives. Exactly. Fitting.
You can find me on Twitter @DraggingALake. You can follow the podcast on Twitter @Pokemon Podcast. As of March 15th, today, the day of we recording, we just hit 20,000 followers on Twitter.
The Ides of March.
I was just going to say, beware the Ides of March, because this is where Travis and Will kill Steve.
One can only dream. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PKMNcast. The Twitch channel page is pretty much done, so twitch.tv/PKMNcast. Hopefully we can start that Twitch up in a week or two. Finally, if you haven't done so, please review us in iTunes. Even if you don't use iTunes, we are trying to hit 500 reviews by the end of 2015. We are, as of today, at 431. So please leave us a review. We got a whole bunch in the last week, and we plan to read all those.
Yeah, were we at 420 the week before?
Yeah, 11 in a week. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So, like I said, even if you don't use iTunes, please open up iTunes and leave us a review. We're trying to get to 500. So, isn't that long? And I don't know, leave a review about Parasect or something.
And I would highly recommend everybody bookmarking the twitch.tv page, twitch.tv/PKMNcast, because there's a picture of a Cyndaquil roasting a marshmallow on the fire from its own back, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen, and I can't stop crying now.
It's pretty cool. If you have a Twitch account, you can do the little like heart follow button to get the notifications and stuff. Otherwise, this has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super Tembo the elephant.
Good night, everyone.